Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce ourselves. We are from Group 4, consists of me, myself, Luthfina, Nurlaili, Damayanti, and then Alfia, Nita, Pitriyani, and then Adjie, Rangga, Yasa, Ananto Dwi Nugroho, Rakhmadhona Istifarah, and Estiningsih. And the first material will be delivered by Ananto. Please, Ananto.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ananto Dwi Nugroho. My student number is 14. Definition of problem-based learning. According to Dutch in 1995, suggested that problem-based learning is a teaching model characterized by real problem as a context for learners to learn critical thinking and problem-solving skills and gain knowledge. According to Finkel and Thorpe, 1995, states that problem-based learning is curriculum development and teaching system that develops stimulate problem-solving strategies and basic knowledge and skills by placing learners in an active role as daily problem solvers that not well structured. Where according to Kamdi in 2007 argued that problem-based learning model is defined as a learning model that involves students to try to solve problems by going through several stages of scientific methods so that students are expected to be able to learn knowledge related to the problem, and at the same time, students are expected to have skills in solving problems. From several definitions from experts, it can be concluded that the problem-based learning model becomes as a learning approach that seeks to apply problems that occur in the real world as a context for students in practicing how to think critical thinking and gain skill in problem solving as well as unforgettable to gain knowledge as well as important concept of the teaching material discussed.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Luthfina Nurlaili Damayanti. My student number is 180105002. Now I'm here to give the material about the main concept of problem-based learning. So before that, I would like to give the definition of problem-based learning. Problem-based learning is a pedagogical approach and curriculum design methodology often used in higher education and K-12 settings. If you don't know what is K-12 settings, K-12 or spoken as K-12, K through 12 or K to 12 is education from kindergarten to 12th grade. This is an American expression that indicates the range of years of supported primary and secondary education found in the United States. And then teacher and students' roles. The first one is roles of the teacher. The first one is select authentic tasks. An authentic task is a task that native speakers of a language would do in everyday life. When learners do an authentic task, they are doing something that puts real communicative demands on them. The second one is structure the lesson or activity. In this section, a teacher should prepare the lesson plan first before he or she starts the class, and he or she should think about how to build a good atmosphere in the class. And the third one is model. A teacher should be a model for the students. All movements and whatever the teacher says must be noticed by the students. Therefore, a teacher must have a good attitude in front of the class. The fourth one is coach. The teacher shouldn't expect students to be effective problem solvers right away. Since learning to solve problems is one of the main goals of PBL, students will need to be guided during the searching and solving process. By asking questions along with the students, a teacher can serve as good as a model problem solver. As students get better at problem solving, the teacher's involvement may change slightly. And then the fifth one is provide feedback. So, in the class, a teacher should give feedback after the class is end. And the next is enhance students from novice to expert. So, in problem-based learning class, a teacher must enhance students from novice to expert. No matter how small the action is, every day there must be a progress that the teacher gives to students so that the students move forward. And then the next is roles of the students. The first one is construct their own knowledge. Constructivism is based on the idea that people actively construct or make their own knowledge, and that reality is determined by your experience as a learner. Basically, learners use their previous knowledge as a foundation and build on it with new things that they learn. And the second one is self-directed. A self-directed learner is a student who appreciates learning, is goal-focused, displays initiative and independence, and is known to be persistent in learning. As a student-centered means of learning, PBL focuses on active learning and SDL. Hence, SDL is a very important component. And the third one is work on meaningful tasks. So in problem-based learning, when a student gets an assignment from the teacher, he or she must really do it. Because the goal of problem-based learning is to focus on solving a problem completely. And the fourth one, or the last, is actively think about their learning. In problem-based learning, students have to learn while engaging actively with meaningful problems. Students are given the opportunities to problem solve in a collaborative setting, create mental models for learning, and form self-directed learning habits through practice and reflection. That's all from me, and I'm sorry if there are many mistakes, and the next presentations will be delivered by Nita. Please, Nita.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'll continue the presentation. My name is Alfia Pitriyani and my student number is 180105010. I'll explain the key in problem-based learning. The key here means the successfulness of problem-based learning. Same like cooperative learning method, in problem-based learning is also need to be considered the challenges that will be faced in the learning process. Therefore, we need these 2 points to be considered to make the problem-based learning successful to implement it in the class. The first point that we need to consider is the transition period. It's not easy for both student and teacher to do new things. It needs time to change student who previously used other method in learning and change it into problem-based learning. Therefore, we need to consider the transition period, then it's possible to make the problem-based learning successful to be implemented in the class. The second point that we need to consider is the study time. In problem-based learning, it needs long time to teach the materials in one period. Therefore, you need to consider the study time, whether it has included all the steps of problem-based learning or not. There are 2 points that we need to consider as the key in problem-based learning. Then it's possible for us to implement the problem-based learning in the class. After we know the points or the key in problem-based learning, we'll get the advantages. It will bring you to the next material that will be presented by Estiningsih. That's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, I'm Estiningsih. My last student number is 36 and I will explain about the advantages and disadvantages in problem-based learning. The first one is the advantages in problem-based learning. The first is the students are expected to get knowledge and develop their skills in solving problems. The second one is the students are more motivated, and the third one is this method can help the student to recall the informations, the concepts, and the skill in their memory. The last one is the students are forced to develop problem solving, diagnostic, and making hypotheses. The second one is about the disadvantages in problem-based learning. The first one is the success of implementing the PBL method depends on students' disciplines to learn. The second one is problem-based learning method is focused in the problem solving, then it is basic knowledge. The third one is this method is not efficient, and the last one is the problem-based learning is not facilitate the students to pass the exam, but it helps students in answering questions based on the problem.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adjie Rangga Yasa. My student number is 18010500011. Today I will be presenting the purpose of problem-based learning. So after we learning about the definition of problem-based learning, the key, the main concept, the advantage and also disadvantage of using problem-based learning, we might come up with a question: what is the purpose of using problem-based learning? Well, there are at least three main purposes of using problem-based learning. The first one, problem-based learning, is designed to develop the students some of students' individual skills. First, problem-based learning is designed to developing comprehensions in PBL. Second, PBL is designed to develop the students' problem-solving skills. Third one, the PBL is designed to develop self-directing learning skills from students. So the learning process is not only happen in school when the teacher exists. The learning process is also able to happen when the students are studying at their home, at their room. So it's not limited only in school. After that, it also developed the small group learning process skill and also critical thinking skill from the students. The second purpose of the PBL is about integrating the different parts of the curriculum. So we as a teacher or a tutor, we don't only use one part of the curriculum. At least we have using multiple parts. Last but not least, problem-based learning was designed to identifying and studying other science outside the curriculum. So yeah, the knowledge is not limited in a little box called books and curriculum itself. Okay, so let's continue to the second material. On the second material, we will see 5 pictures that illustrating the process of problem-based learning to happen. On the first picture, we can see one kid or one boy wandering in his desk, wondering about something that become an issue for him, wondering about question that become a concern for him. And then for the second picture, we can see a classroom that use problem-based learning process. A teacher dividing a classroom member into several small groups, to discuss about the problem or the issue that come up in their topic, in their lesson activity. After that, the third picture, we can see a teacher or an adult teach students. But in this case, in problem-based learning, the teacher was a guide the students, tutor them, to make himself as a mentor for the students. Not only one students, but group students in a small group. After that, the fourth picture, we can see a classroom that giving their opinion, sharing their knowledge that they have gained during the problem-based learning process, during their discussion in a small group. Now they're sharing their opinion, they're sharing their point of view, their knowledge into the whole classroom, not in a small groups anymore. After that, the output was the scientific data. They can write, they can solve the problem, and they also revise the process if there is a mistake. And the output was scientifically there. So that's my presentation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, let's move to the last discussion. It about conclusion. Problem-based learning is an instructional method of hands-on, active learning centered on the investigation and resolution of messy, also real-world problems. There are 5 characteristics of problem-based learning, such as learning is challenging, problem or cases are context-specific, student works as self-directed, active investigators, and problem solvers in small collaborative groups. And the last one, teachers adopt the roles as facilitators of learning, guiding the learning process, and promoting an environment of inquiry. Through the history of problem-based learning can be traced to the late 1960s. Problem-based learning can be very challenging to implement as it requires a lot of planning and hard work for the teacher. The tools used in problem-based learning include collaborative tools, research tools, and the last one is presentation tools. Okay, I think that's all from our group. I hope you enjoy our video. I think that's all. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.